assists and just 12 turnovers in his last 6 games. And 34-year-old Randy Ayers, head coach in his second year of the Buckeye helm. He has this team off to its best start in 29 years. Michigan State Spartans. Matt Stegginga must step up to shoulder some of the scoring load, especially on the perimeter. Led the team with 15 points at Indiana on Saturday. And Judd Heathcote, in his 15th season at Michigan State, he is the winningest coach in Spartan basketball history. The series between these two teams, Ohio State leads it overall, but Michigan State's won 5 of the last 6 games played here in East Lansing. Should be pointed out, if Ohio State wins this game here tonight, it would mark the first time the Buckeyes have won on the road at Indiana, Minnesota, and Michigan State, all in the same season. Jimmy Jackson and Mark Montgomery. There's a look at Steve Smith, the principals in tonight's game. Spartans in the white with green trim, and they control the opening pass. Smith to Montgomery.
It's important for the Spartans not only to get off to a good start, but to control tempo. Talking to Judd Heathcote, he wants this game in the 60s, no more than the 70s. Ohio State would like a more fast-paced game.
Baker at the point for Ohio State.
Michigan State showing man-to-man.
To Baker from Jamal Brown. Nicely done.
Hello. Mark Baker showing you his ability to hop on the nice flush.
Smith had a notion from the three-point stripe. Carter jumped out on him. Mark Montgomery sets it up.
Buckeyes also showing man-to-man here early.
Poplowski at the high post. Montgomery giving the shot from the outside. Carter the rebound. Baker penetrating. Boy, he makes you pay, doesn't he?
What makes Mark Baker so special as a point guard is, one, his explosiveness off the dribble, but secondly, and probably more importantly, is his ability to finish when he gets in the paint.
Stegginga to Poplowski.
Boy, the Buckeyes slow in getting back that time. Michigan State attacking the full court pressure well.
Clark, what makes Ohio State's pressure so effective is that they do have the quickness to get back defensively.
They start 5 pretty good athletes.
Jackson dealing on Stegginga. Montgomery is there for the rebound. Into traffic, the pass from Montgomery is stolen away by Perry Carter. It's headed for Stegginga. Jamal Brown has been shooting well from the outside of late. A brick that time.
And Jamal Brown, 46 points in their last 2 road wins. A career-high 29 in Indiana. He shot 13 of 21 in those last 2 games. Starts off with an errant attempt there.
Poplowski out high against Carter. Smith sends it up from the point.
Perry Carter and Poplowski banging bodies inside.
Stegginga battling for the rebound, knocked out of bounds by Carter. It'll belong to Michigan State.
Here you take a look at Perry Carter, body beautiful. He's cut up and twisted quite well.
Spartans on the inbound. Poplowski playing at the high post for the most part here in the early going tonight. That takes Carter out from under the basket, where he's especially dangerous on both ends of the floor, I might add. Smith.
Steve Smith is a truly versatile performer in the backcourt. Can get his own shot and create for teammates.
Ohio State off rather cool from the floor. Montgomery with the twist is fouled on the play. Greg Lee picks up the first foul of the game.
Well, I tell you what, for a team that wants to control tempo, the Spartans pushing it up. Montgomery up and under Treg Lee, who commits the reach-in foul. But Michigan State looking to run when the opportunity presents itself, and the Buckeyes a little slow on 2 trips and getting back.
Montgomery plagued by foul troubles at Indiana the other day. Spartans were unceremoniously blown out by the Hoosiers on Saturday. They spent a lost week in Indiana. Lost to Purdue on Wednesday night. Lost to Indiana on Saturday.
Hoosier hostility experienced by the Spartans.
Carter from the outside. Montgomery there for the rebound. His second of the game. Smith lets it go for three. That one a brick, and Lee retrieves. Opening 4 minutes of play, first half.
I really think the background here might make it tough for shooters. We've seen a couple of errant tries
by good shooters.
Exactly.
Jimmy Jackson trying to get into the flow.
The rims don't stand out as pronouncedly in this building as they do in some others.
Jackson.
He didn't have any problem finding the iron that time with the little jump up.
Smith to Stegginga, head of the field. Baker intercedes and fouls on the play. First on Baker's second of the team.
Stegginga and Baker both showing their ability to hop. And here, Michigan State attacking the pressure with the diagonal pass. Carter going to make a late effort to get to the steal, misses it, and Stegginga and Baker go upstairs. Mark Baker at 6'1", tremendous athlete, great quickness. And this guy here, Matt Stegginga, also an outstanding athlete, won the dunk contest in the Capital Classic a few years ago coming out of high school.
Stegginga shooting at about 69.9% for the free throw line, almost 70%. Chris Gent, the sixth man for Ohio State into the ball game, replacing Jamal Brown. Gent is an energizer when he gets into the lineup. He's a garbage man.
Mr. Duracell. He gives them a lot of energy at both ends of the floor.
Poplawski fouled by Gent reaching in. Chris Gent's first, third on the team. Randy Ayers debating it a bit.
Here we'll take a look. There's the errant rebound. And Gent gets an awful lot of ball, but anytime you reach in that emphatically, right in front of the guys with the whistle, you usually get the foul call.
Smith. His second from the field.
Excellent execution. Little pick along the baseline for Smith. He used it beautifully. Got himself open for the warm-up jump shot. And he and Gent battling each other down inside right now.
Jackson. Poplawski up on the rim. Montgomery intercepted by Lee. Knocked out of bounds, and Lee touched it last. I believe it'll belong to Michigan State when we resume. Randy Ayers and company off a bit slow tonight here on the road in East Lansing with 15:39 to go, first half. Well, Judd Heathcote has his Spartans on top here. The early going of this first half. Here are the principals, the All-America candidates. Jackson for Ohio State and Smith for Michigan State. Smith has to do more for his team than does Jackson.
Jackson can afford to coast and turn it on in spurts. Smith is the guy his teammates feed off of, and he needs to be solid offensively. And both of those guys very versatile and do a lot for their club.
Michigan State on the attack. Montgomery bothered by Baker. Stegginga given the open three.
You know, when you look at the keys for Michigan State, one I mentioned earlier, control tempo. They need balance offensively. Somebody other than Smith has to step up and have a solid game. Stegginga could be that guy, and they need good decisions with the ball in transition.
Baker to Carter on the block against Poplawski. Smith unable to corral the rebound. Unbeknownst to him, Poplawski was in perfect position to pick off that carry.
Excellent position. The Buckeye front line players, 1 of 6 from the floor to start the game. No second shots thus far for the Buckeyes as you take a look at the vital field goal percentage.
Ohio State comes in shooting at 54.8% on the season as a team. Craig Lee, he's been one of the keys for the Ohio State Buckeyes, elevating them from maybe top 20 status to top 5. He's really come out and played well this season. Here's the lead, Stegginga against the pressure.
You talk about Craig Lee playing with a lot of confidence.
Pass off the mark as Stegginga tried to find Smith. Second turnover for Judd Heathcote's team.
You know, in the 2 losses to the Indiana schools, Purdue and Indiana, Michigan State had 39 turnovers in those 2 games, and they only averaged 13 giveaways per game. Well, turnovers are going to be a key stat for the Spartans here tonight.
They had 22 turnovers at Indiana. Jackson connects. Ever so dangerous. He has 4. To further embellish, not only did they have 22 turnovers at Indiana, Michigan State was over the 10-foul limit in each half of that game. Stegginga over Baker, and he draws the foul. Baker, his second personal. 4 team fouls on Ohio State. Spartans are yet to commit a foul.
Spartans really doing a nice job of attacking the pressure. Anytime a team presses you, you have to think score. Get the ball up into the front court and go to the basket. Stegginga, a good enough athlete to take Baker off the dribble and draw the foul that time.
Change in the lineup. Parrish Hickman, number 42, comes into the lineup. Place of Dwayne Stevens. Sticking at the free throw line. Michigan State at the line, not taking advantage yet. Just 1 out of 4.
We talked about attacking the pressure. Here you see Matt Stegginga on the dribble in transition, using his size and jumping ability to force Baker into the foul.
Stegginga now has 6 points as he completes the second free throw. Coming up on 6 minutes gone by. First half. This is Jackson. Brown. Carter block.
He was begging for it.
Jackson. Craig Lee on the turnaround. Poplowski clears the ball.
Michigan State doing a nice job on their defensive glass. 1 shot and 1 shot only for the Buckeyes.
Montgomery at the point. Terrence Hickman for 2. Jackson by Stegginga. Gent kept that alive to Carter, and the foul coming up on Poplowski.
For the first second shot chance for the Buckeyes, and it results in a foul on Poplowski. Penetration by Jackson will create offensive rebounding lanes, and Gent keeps it alive to Carter, and he's pounded by Poplowski.
Perry Carter heading to the free throw line as up off the bench. Reporting on is Chris Wyszynski, a freshman for Michigan State out of Purcellville, Virginia. Perry Carter seems like he's been at Ohio State forever. He's moving steadily up on all the rebounding charts.
I tell you what, on his 8th rebound tonight, he passes yours truly on the all-time list.
That's why we mentioned
down
that,
to number 5.
He has 3 tonight. Perry Carter, 3 rebounds tonight. Makes good on a pair at the line. And a substitution. Carter getting his first breather of the night. Bill Robinson, the big 7-footer out of Canton. Steadily improving player coming on for Ohio State. Robinson intercepts this lazy pass. Jackson. Greg Lee looking for Robinson. Jamal Brown. Ohio State's lineup comprised of a center, 3 forwards, and a guard. A foul coming up down low. Fouls on Smith, his first.
The 2 principals, as you've referred to them, Wayne, battling for position. Nice basket cut by Jackson. He gave it up and immediately made a hard cut to the ball, looking for post-up position, and Smith fouled.
Brown out front at the point. Jackson, good ball movement to Lee. Got Hickman up into the air, slapped away by Smith. Second personal coming up on Steve Smith. Judd Heathfield not at all happy with that call.
Well, the whistle was a fraction late. Seemed like there had been a pretty good play made on the ball, and the official behind the action stepped in and whistled Smith for the foul, and he's laughing it off now. And there he and the official conversed, and I think they've reached a compromise.
Randy Drury, yeah, the foul will stand. That's the compromise. He's got 2 fouls, 3 on the team. Treg Lee at the line makes good on his first.
Treg Lee, a native Clevelander, spent time at St. Joseph High School.
Named for his father's 4 best friends, Tony, Ronnie, Eddie, and Greg.
That's an interesting way to come up with your name. But really has elevated his game, and I think you have to attribute that to Randy Ayers' starting him at the beginning of the season and giving him some confidence and allowing him to grow into a comfort zone as the Buckeyes' #4 front court player.
Alex Davis makes the steal. Just reported on. Coming off a knee injury. Here's Brown. 4 turnovers for Michigan State. Davis, good offensive player.
Robinson posting up well inside.
Robinson and Poplawski. Chris Gent for 3. Montgomery slaps down the rebound. Wyszynski. Montgomery to Smith. Poplawski for the chip shot. Gent is there.
What a nice look by Steve Smith.
Jamal Brown. Nicely done. His first 2 points of the night, Clark.
And it was the beauty. Penetration and then the nice lefty finger roll.
Montgomery to Hickman. Trying to shove it back to Montgomery. Robinson with the intercept. 5th turnover of the night for the Spartans.
Bill Robinson has stepped in and picked up 2 steals already, and there you see the turnover. And we talked about that being a key statistic. Right now, the Buckeyes are forced 5.
Buckeyes can take the lead. Wyszynski strips the ball. Here comes Montgomery. Hickman finishes it off. Good ball movement from Montgomery to Wyszynski to Hickman.
One of the things you like about this Ohio State team is their poise. They've gotten off to the start they wanted. Just a solid start. Staying within the game and keeping the crowd from being a real factor.
Greg Lee, good move inside. He has 6.
Boy, showed the ball and lifted the defender.
Pressure, the trap in the backcourt, and this time they foul. Greg Lee picks up the personal foul, his second 5 on Ohio State.
Foul is on 34.
Little over 10.5 minutes left to go. We are first half of play from the Breslin Center with better than 15,000 on hand. Randy Ayers looking on, 34 years old, at his second season as head coach at Ohio State, was an assistant for 6 seasons at OSU prior to taking over when Gary Williams left for Maryland. Michigan State on the attack. Spartans have done a pretty good job of breaking the pressure.
They really have. They've gotten some easy shots, but the last few times, the Buckeyes have done a better job getting back and denying the initial opportunity.
Hickman, yes, and a foul.
Nice shoehorn along the baseline. Parrish Hickman going to shoehorn himself along the baseline. He beats Bill Robinson right there. Carter trying to get there to help, didn't get there soon enough, and Hickman reacts emphatically. 6 points already. There you see a season average, and we talked about how important it is for the Spartans to have other people step up and contribute offensively. They've had that here early.
Spartans have not taken full advantage of the free throw line. They've missed 3 of 6 from the charity stripe. Coming up on the halfway mark, first half. Gent. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Smith.
You take a look at Steve Smith, and for all his wonderful talent and versatility, he's a guy you can post up. He's rather narrow of frame, and Gent that time just didn't finish. Got excellent position inside, just didn't finish.
Gent is 6'7" and 220, and Steve Smith 6'7", 200. Extra 20 pounds makes a difference in the paint. Brown hit the top of the backboard, and it will belong to Michigan State. Wayne Stevens will toss in. There's Eric Harmon, Big Ten officiating crew. Harmon, Rucker, and Drury are the officials on hand for tonight's game. 3 of the best in the Big Ten. Here's Steve Smith, picked up by Jamal Brown. Brown, an excellent defensive guard in addition to his offensive capability.
Really a good athlete, solid performer, and started every game that he's been a Buckeye.
Smith with a force. Hickman knocks it out of play, preventing an Ohio State fast break. Jamal Brown. Jackson. interior feed to Carter. Picks up the foul. Steggy is first. That is the 4th on the team. Coming up next, North Carolina and Clemson as we head to the ACC, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Under 10 minutes to go, first half. Michigan State sags back into that 2-3 zone. It's tough to play a zone anymore with the way teams shoot from the outside. Jackson. Robinson had the rebound for a moment. Gent takes it and scores.
How did he get that one up and down? No room, but hung in the air on the baseline. You make an excellent point, Wayne, when you talk about zones almost being obsolete because of the three-point arc. So many teams really using that three-point shot as a weapon.
Brown is fouled by Wyszynski on the drive. His first and now the 5th on Michigan State. So the team fouls have evened up at 5 apiece.
Well, I think Wyszynski picks up that foul because he reaches in. Take a look here. The reach in, he's in pretty good position with his lower body, but the reach in is where he commits the foul.
Non-shooting affair. Free throw shooting. Michigan State shooting just 43%.
Well, the Buckeyes have done what they wanted to do. They're looking for their 5th road win in the conference. Negate the crowd. Don't get behind by too much too soon.
Brown at the 3-point line. Chris Gent lets it go from there. Poplawski the rebound. Buckeyes have not shot very well in this first half overall from the outside.
They've gotten decent shots too, haven't gotten them down. And Michigan State has limited the Buckeyes to 1 shot just about every trip. Steve Smith has been quiet, hasn't really looked for his offense much.
Steve has struggled from the floor, as we pointed out in the open, hitting just 13 of his last 38 shots from the floor. And at Indiana, he struggled so much that he started taking bad shots. And so I think that's why he's been a little more quiet here tonight. Carter has to go through his hands, but Brown is there.
Spartans doing a nice job getting back, not allowing the Buckeyes anything easy in transition.
Good ball movement. Jackson on the drive.
Nice little banana cut, as we call it in the business, from the weak side to the strong side. Jimmy Jackson really knows how to play.
First lead for the visitors tonight. Smith to Hickman. He can't handle it. Another turnover by Michigan State. 6 on the night. Jackson to Carter. I think Carter was the flag.
Just momentarily.
You know, this team is so close, this Ohio State team. They played 40-some games, 47 games together as a team, the top 6-7 players. They hang out away from the game together. Oh, you really have a good feel for each other.
They really do.
And the big men pass the ball exceptionally well on this team. Jackson.
And it doesn't hurt to have a go-to guy like JJ, who can get it to other guys or knock down the jump shot, come up with whatever you need when you need it.
The lead is now 4 for Ohio State. Changes for both sides. And with 6:35 left to go, we'll step out for a break from the Breslin Center with Ohio State leading by 4. Clark Kellogg, that's our story. Ohio State, despite not getting a lot from their front line in terms of shooting, you mentioned it, 7 of 18 from the floor for the front line. The backcourt 3 out of 5.
Well, again, we talked about it at the top, Wayne. This Ohio State team, really a balanced, confident unit. And you just alluded to the fact that they're so close to each other off and on the floor, and it just shows in their confident play, especially on the road.
Stegging it to Montgomery. Nice look to Stevens inside on Robinson.
Well, excellent floor spacing. Nice decision by Montgomery. Good finish.
Coming up on 6 minutes left to go. First half.
Spartans back to man. Judd Heathcote feels that's their best defense. Really not totally confident when they go to the zone.
Jackson off a pick by Lee. Robinson, the 7-footer, is fouled. No, traveled. Turnover, OSU, and Michigan State gets it back.
Randy didn't really care for it, but here's a shot by Jackson. Robinson going to get the long rebound. Now he loses, he's trying to get his balance and shuffles his feet before he gets it up. Footwork so important, whatever position you play in basketball.
Montgomery. Poplawski at the high post. Poplawski. Boy, they are fighting hard inside. A lot of bone crunching going on down there. Baker on the drive. Blocking foul coming up on Montgomery.
Oh, Montgomery didn't like the call, neither did Judd. And Judd emphatic about it. We'll take a look. Watch the quick explosion by is Montgomery there? Oh, pretty close. Well, I tell you what, we've got to let you make the call. That's a pick 'em, folks. That could have gone either way. And the basket counted for Mark Baker as he was fouled in the act. And Judd still voicing his choice.
Trying to complete the three-point play, Mark Baker. 7 for Baker. Gent and Carter return, along with Jamie Skelton. Skelton, a freshman out of Dayton, Ohio.
Outstanding athlete, Jamie Skelton.
Plays the guard position.
Good quickness.
Point guard.
Can really get up in the air. Getting some valuable playing time as a freshman on a very good Buckeye team.
Montgomery driving on Skelton, who did not have position here, and the freshman gets the foul. His first 6 on the team. Skelton, a point guard in high school, is in with Baker now, so he's playing some off guard. 2 spot tonight.
Interchangeable.
Randy Ayers orchestrating from the sidelines of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Montgomery at the free throw line, 0 for 2. Michigan State back to within 4. 5:15 left to go, first half. Poplawski. No, but he was fouled. Chris Gent picks up the foul. His second, 7th on the team.
Poplawski leads the league in rebounding at 9 a game. And, well, I tell you what, Perry Carter was shoved into the middle of our screen. No whistle. They're letting him play a little bit inside, at least on that possession.
I'd say it's been fairly physical thus far tonight.
It has been. You wouldn't expect anything less, though, in a Big Ten tilt, would you?
Not one of this magnitude, anyway. A look at his numbers. That second number you saw, 56%. Of course, that's from 15 feet. The 60-some% is inside of 10 feet. A little bit of a difference there. Coming up on 5 minutes left to go, first half. We've got a good one going from the Breslin Center in East Lansing. Poplawski with a touch foul inside. Carter will go to the line. Second on Poplawski. Team is over the limit with 7.
You take a look at Poplawski there, lacing the shoe up, and he's had 5 surgeries on his knee and was redshirted a year because of it. Really an inspiration as you take a look at the brace he wears. Really an inspiration just to see him out there battling as effectively as he does.
Carter with 4 rebounds, 2 of 2 of the line, misses the free throw. Steggy goes there. This is Montgomery.
You know, Michigan State controlling tempo. This game played much more to their like, to the pace that they like, as opposed to what Ohio State would like. And
Skelton gets called for a little touch foul out front. You know, when you're a freshman, you get those fouls, you know.
They seem to find you.
Steve Smith does that. Mark Baker does that. They don't get the foul. Coming up at halftime, Chris Fowler is in the studio tonight. He'll have an update on all the college hoop news and scores, plus double take. Plays of the week of college basketball. That's coming up for you. Halftime. Smith bleeds home the first. He has 5.
Bleeds at home. I like that.
Going for number 33.
That streak over 5 games. It continues.
6 points in the game for Smith. We are tied once again. Carter slips inside of Poplawski. It's number 3 on Mike Poplawski, 8th on the team, and Judd Heathcote doesn't have a lot on that bench in terms of size to bring in. He's going to bring in Parrish Hickman.
Perry Carter using his body extremely well. You get post position with your lower body, although Perry Carter with those wide shoulders knows how to use his upper body as well. And Poplawski, after he was beaten, picked up the foul. But so often you see players in the post working real hard with their upper body, trying to forearm and push with their upper body. But position is established with the lower body.
Good point. Carter's been around. He knows how to establish position. All 4 of his points have come from the foul line on 4 of 5 shooting from there. And the visitors are up by 2 once again as Jamal Brown reports back on. He's been quiet tonight, Clark, with just 2 points. There's the lead for Stegginga. He'll take You mentioned he won a dunk contest after his high school career was over. He showed why.
As the fellas in the neighborhood would say, Matt, way to hop.
That brought the crowd back into this game. Carter, Stegginga the rebound. Montgomery sets the offense for Michigan State. Smith for 3. Yes. Points by the Spartans. Jimmy Jackson. Blocked by Stegginga. Taken by Hickman. Has to save it. Saves to the wrong side. Jamal Brown resets the offense. Much of this sellout crowd of 15,000 plus on their feet. Jackson with the stutter step off the glass. Craig Lee is fouled on the play by Dwayne Stevens. First on Stevens, 9th on Michigan State in this first half.
Boy, Jackson may have gotten away with the walk, although I think he maintained the pivot foot really close. But Craig Lee doing a nice job getting to the offensive glass. Important possession there for the Buckeyes to get this crowd back on their bottoms instead of on their feet.
Lee missing the free throw. I think both sides thought there was another free throw coming in that situation. No one really jumped into the lane.
You're exactly right, although Craig was fouled before he shot.
Oh, good feed to Hickman. Unable to convert. Hickman keeps it alive. Stevens, Hickman has to save it off the Buckeyes and out of play. It has not been pretty for Michigan State, but they have scrapped and clawed their way into a 3-point lead. Wayne Larrabee, Clark Kellogg, we're at the Breslin Center in East Lansing.
Pat Stegginga with the rejection of Jimmy Jackson's jump shot on the baseline. Michigan State ended up losing possession here. But Stegginga having a solid first half.
8 points. He's really been an impact in the last 2 minutes. A thunderous dunk moments ago. Smith for 3. Craig Lee up high for the rebound.
Big board.
Big boy. He is big. And way up on that play. Brown for 3.
The rally Charlie Wrecker. And that's what the Buckeyes have done so well in their winning streak on the road, is to thwart any rally the home team has made.
Stevens in trouble, taken away by Brown. Oh, nice feed, Jackson. He is fouled. Stegiga picks it up. His second, 10 on the team.
Good aggressive play here by Brown and Lee. Both get to the deck to come up with it. Brown just wrestles it away. Nice reverse dribble and dish. Jackson unable to finish, but Stegiga on the foul.
Jackson with 8 points, all of which have come from the field. Now he has 9. His first free throw of the night. Jackson, perhaps the most versatile player in the Big Ten Conference.
He's one of your more versatile players in all of the land.
The pressure, ever present. Michigan State takes it across. This is Montgomery, picked up by Gent. Talk about versatility. Gent will play the 4, 3, and 2 spots on your team at different junctures.
Well, the Buckeyes have 4 or 5 players that can play 2 or more positions, which adds to their balance and versatility.
Smith, Stegiga, Wayne Stevens, a reluctant shooter, but not Montgomery. Carter had position in the rebound. Hickman knocked it out of play. It'll belong to Ohio State. Under 2 minutes to go, first half. Judd Heathcote looks on. Bill Robinson, the 7-footer, up off the bench, coming back on now for Ohio State. Craig Lee has a seat. Time left in the first half. Lower right corner of your screen. Jamal Brown to the point. Robinson over Stegiga.
Oh, a nice strong move. Good patience. You don't have to be in a hurry in the post. You need to be quick, but not in a hurry.
2-on-1. Hickman. Yes, and a foul.
I think Randy Ayers just picked up a technical. Randy usually pretty docile on the sideline. Okay. But this play is going to elicit the reaction. Bill Robinson called for the block. 2-on-1. Good attack of the basket by Hickman. And Bill Robinson in pretty good position.
Yes, indeed.
And yet whistled for the foul.
Parrish Hickman trying to complete the 3-point play. He has 8 points in the game.
Boy, the Spartans really haven't helped their cause at the stripe.
Now the technical foul on Randy Ayers being shot by Steve Smith. Smith with his 34 consecutive free throws.
I think it's a 33.
34 now. Randy Ayers had not been happy with the officiating throughout the night. 11 points now for Smith, and the streak is continuing. 35 straight free throws for Steve Smith. 9th tie of this first half. 58 seconds to go in the half. Wyszynski reports back on to the backcourt for Judd Heathcote, Michigan State.
Now you wonder if the Spartans will try to go 2 for 1. There's enough time differential to get a quick one and then have the last shot of the half. But they better hurry if they're thinking along that line. It looks like they're going to run their weave and just try to get a good shot.
30 to go on the shot clock, 44 in the game. Time left in the game, first half I should say. Lower right corner of your screen. Wyszynski. Parrish Hickman has given them a lift off the bench from a point standpoint. 8 here in this first half for Hickman. 10 to go on the shot clock. Wyshynski for three.
Great execution.
Final seconds, first half. No shot clock. Jimmy Jackson. This is his time for three. And the first half comes to a close. Well done by both sides. An entertaining first half. Randy Ayers and the Ohio State Buckeyes undefeated at 17-0. Third-ranked team in the nation. Head off trailing by just 3 at the break on the road at Michigan State.
In a Big East game. Baseline leads in with the right hand. And welcome to the record books once again, Eric Murdoch.
Going to get a shot off.
Drives the baseline. Puts it up. No basket. No basket. Not in time, they say. No basket. Georgia Tech pulls off the upset.
Get it out of here, baby.
Thompson and Fagans have looked great.
Forgione to Guglielmo. Sounds like an Italian construction company.
State with the 11. Michigan State, when they had the lead at the half, Judd Heathcote's team is hard to catch. The lead is only 3 this time to the number 3 ranked team in the nation.
I tell you what, Ohio State, if they're going to continue to pressure, they have to stop giving up the easy baskets at the end of the pressure. They've got to get back. Michigan State wants to continue with what they're doing. They've done a nice job controlling tempo, making decent decisions with the ball, and rebounding the ball.
Ohio State on the attack. Opening minute of play, second half. Been a good one throughout. Baker. Craig Lee. Rebound Poplawski. Smith to Stevens.
Hello. Defensive board in transition. Leads to a deuce.
Smith looked left and came up firing to the right side, that time on the break. Stegging of the rebound. Baseball feed almost intercepted by Jackson. Stevens tracks it down. Jackson with those quick hands. It'll belong to Michigan State.
Buckeyes really giving up too many easy shots to the Spartans. That time, the last two possessions, it really wasn't against pressure. Just defensive boards and outlets by the Spartans.
Steggia. Montgomery given time to measure for three. First 5 points of the second half have been scored by the Spartans. Down low feed from Baker, tipped out of bounds by Michigan State. It'll belong to Ohio State at the baseline. Biggest lead of the night for either team, 8 points. Up on the backboard with that shot. And it'll belong to Michigan State.
Spartans coming out aggressively here to start the second half. Buckeyes do a little better job in their full court pressure this time. Force the Spartans to pull it back out.
Take a look at what Michigan State has done recently in this ball game. Smith off the mark from deep. We've got a foul coming up here. Going to be on Michigan State's Dwayne Stevens for pushing off on the rebound. That is Stevens' second and the first other team in the second half.
You know, we just looked at that 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of this game, and that run started on a Parrish-Hickman basket. A foul was called, and Randy Ayers was whistled for a technical, and the Spartans have used that momentum to build that 10-zip run.
Lee, Carter on the block against Poplawski. And Carter connects inside his first field goal of the game. He has 6. He was 0 for 4 in the first half.
The Buckeyes front line 8 of 24 in that first half. So they're going to have to establish a presence inside to get back in it.
Montgomery, Steggia cannot convert. Buckeyes back the other way. Baker, oh, what a move. My goodness. 9 for Baker.
And how do you do, Mr. Baker?
Montgomery breaks it across. Jamal Brown reaching in from behind. Initiates the contact for his first personal foul, first on the team. Take a look at this move by Baker again. My goodness, this is creating.
Little stop and go, herky-jerky to the window. Got around 2, 3 Spartans and then finished it nicely.
Steggia passes it up. Stevens, Montgomery from the outside for 3. Couple of three-pointers here in the opening 3 minutes of play. Second half by Mark Montgomery. Michigan State by 7. Jackson backs it off and resets the offense.
Take a look at Carter and Poplawski inside, right in the middle of your screen.
Jackson blocked by Steggia. Jackson gets it back. What a feed to Lee. Great ball movement to Carter, who finishes it off.
See, what's happening with Jimmy Jackson? Twice now, Steggia has gotten up and blocked his shot. Jackson underestimating the leaping ability of Matt Steggia. But he stays with it. And so often we talk about the pass that leads to the assist, but what about the pass that leads to the pass? Jackson to Lee, to Carter. If Jackson doesn't get that ball to Lee, he's unable to make the pass that leads to the hoop for Carter.
Again, the point made this afternoon at the shoot-around. Ohio State's big men really pass the ball well.
They really do a nice job of finding who's open.
3.5 minutes gone by. Second half, Smith with a fourth. Yes, and a foul! Jamal Brown second on the team.
Oh my, what a play by Steve Smith. At 6'7", you won't find many guards that can match up with him size-wise, and he's going to take advantage of his size here. Brown, a good defender, beaten momentarily on the screen, and Smith waiting for the official signal after that one. I tell you what, Steve Smith loves to play. He loves to get the crowd involved. A very demonstrative player.
14 points for Smith. 4 of 8 from the field. 5 of 5 from the line. took advantage. 7 points for Jamal Brown.
Little brush pick right at the elbow of the foul line. Got him into the lane. And all of the Buckeye guards could finish when they get in the paint.
Smith sets up the offense now to Montgomery. 4 minutes gone by. First and second half.
They like to get it in Smith's hands to allow him to create for himself or a teammate.
Smith. 16 for Steve Smith. Perry Carter. Craig Lee taken away by Montgomery. Smith sets it up. Great hustle by Montgomery to keep it together. Smith to Stevens, stegging up for 3. Jackson the rebound. Here come the Buckeyes. Jackson drew the foul on Stegging-up.
Buckeyes have really gotten nothing in transition. This is a team that averages 85 points a game, and nothing has really been easy for them. A couple of penetrations as we take a look at JJ coming at you. Little shake and bake and stop and go. And Tegenga called for the reach in.
15:08 to go in the game. Michigan State, Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan, home of the Spartans. The 2 All-Americas doing battle here tonight. Jackson for Ohio State, Smith for Michigan State.
Jackson's struggling a little bit from the floor. He's had a couple of shots blocked, 4 of 13. Smith back on course after a couple of subpar shooting games at 5 of 10. He's got 16. Smith has become the 3rd player in Spartan history to surpass 2,000 points.
Michigan State zoning out of the out-of-bounds play.
The other 2, Scott Skiles now with the Orlando Magic and Greg Kelsey.
The rejection of Carter that time by Stevens. Ohio State 4 of 10 from the field now. Michigan State 5 of 8 in this second half.
Well, I look for Smith now to just start looking to create. To really look for his own. But what makes him so tough is the fact that he's such a fine passer off the dribble.
Smith over Jackson. Jackson got a piece of it. Carter the rebound. Ties up with Hickman, falls to the floor, and Baker able to retrieve in time. 5 rebounds for Perry Carter now. Here's Jackson. Lee. Foul is on Stevens. That is number 3 on Dwayne Stevens, 3rd on the team.
Here we take a look at the action inside. Lee and Stevens. Craig Lee with good bounce off the floor, and Stevens got him right on the wrist.
Alex Davis back into the lineup for Ohio State. Excellent shooter. He's been recovering from a preseason knee injury. 2 of those 6 points have come at the free throw line for Craig Lee. John Zuloff into the ball game for the first time tonight, replacing Dwayne Stevens. Craig Lee at the free throw line puts in on his first. Ohio State is a great second half club, and take a look at the numbers. What they usually do in the first half and what they've been doing in the second half. They really come out, especially in terms of shooting.
Quite impressive. And anytime you've got a team that's 17-0, those numbers say a lot of favorable things about the club.
Chris Gent reports back on for Ohio State. He gives Craig Lee a breather.
Gent did a nice job in the first half with 6 boards.
Montgomery breaks it across. Michigan State, more often than not, when they've broken the pressure here in the second half, have elected to set up on the half court. Montgomery drew a foul before the pass.
I think that's, to finish that thought you just expressed, Wayne, I think part of that is the Buckeyes doing a little better job of getting back and denying that 2-on-1 basket opportunity, and then Michigan State also wanting to maybe utilize the clock a little bit. You know, talking to Judd Heathcote prior to the game, he wanted to play it in the 60s.
Stegging up, or not stegging up, but Zuloff guilty of traveling on the play.
And unless his team goes extremely cold, This one will get beyond the 60s, but his team in pretty good control right now.
Michigan State by 6. Ohio State on the attack.
Buckeyes really haven't established an inside game.
They've had some shots in there, Clark, but they haven't converted inside for the most part tonight. Carter's had an especially rough night inside.
Well, Perry's not the kind of guy that's going to jump over people. He relies on positioning. And a lot of guys can bother his shots in the paint.
Davis with a force over Smith. Gent blocked on the play by Steginger. Montgomery in a crowd. Zuloff now resets the offense. Montgomery for 2. 8 second-half points for Mark Montgomery. 11 in the game.
You know, Montgomery comes in only averaging 6. And looked to as the QB for this team, the distributor, but if they're going to give away game balls, he better get one.
Jackson trying to feed Carter. The pass off the mark as Carter made his break. 12 and a half minutes to go, second half. Ohio State has not kicked it in yet. And Randy Ayers takes a timeout. Its largest lead of the evening, 8 points with 12 and a half minutes to go in this one. Randy Ayers trying to fire up his Buckeyes of Ohio State. Coming up, the final football game of the year, live from Honolulu, Hawaii. Bruce Smith and Derek Thomas lead the AFC defense against Randall Cunningham and Barry Sanders of the NFC. Coming up Sunday night on ESPN. Carter knocks it out of play. It'll belong to Michigan State.
Buckeyes employing some half-court pressure that time. 3/4 court pressure, rather, as you take a look at backcourt scoring here tonight. Michigan's really controlled this one in the second half. Mark Montgomery, the guy with the basketball, a key reason as he's knocked down a couple of threes in addition to a 2-point field goal.
I'd say Jet Heathcote reminded his team that the second half is usually Ohio State's half to come back and play. And his team is playing lights out on the Spartans to prevent the Ohio State typical second half comeback. Zuloff leaves it short. Gent the rebound. Baker on the run. Got Jackson on his right. Baker to the hole for 2 and a foul. Boy, the thing about Baker is he makes great decisions all the time on the break.
But what goes unnoticed in that play is Jimmy Jackson runs the lane and forces the defender to make a decision. Good defense here by Jackson. Now we've got transition on the board by Gent. Now Jackson is not in your screen, but he forces the defender to worry about him, and that way Mark Baker is able to make his move. Under control, explosion to the goal.
Second personal on Montgomery, 4th on the team.
The scoreboard is wrong.
Yes, it is.
It was 54-46.
And now it's at 56-48, and now it is 50. They're going to change it to 54-48. That's what the score really is.
There we go. Randy Ayers right on top of it.
How about a home court advantage?
And being a former,
we shouldn't be surprised.
being a former Buckeye, I jumped right on that one,
yeah,
too.
you were up on it. I noticed that. You still have some quickness left. Baker missing on the free throw. Poplawski the rebound.
3/4 court pressure here by the Buckeyes. 1-2-2.
Stevens on the baseline.
Pretty good idea. You want to attack the pressure with the diagonal pass, but that time a little too strong by Smith.
11 and a half to go. Baker.
Jackson trying to post up.
Baker in the paint. Rebound Stevens. Make that Smith on the rebound.
Spartans really doing a nice job defensively. With the exception of the penetration off the dribble by the Buckeyes, everything else has been challenged.
Smith. Stevens. Yes, and a foul.
Anytime a shot is taken from one side of the floor, the rebound 80% of the time is on the opposite side. Dwayne Stevens in great weak side rebounding position to retrieve the errant shot by Smith. And Perry Carter picked up the foul.
His first, fourth on the team, and Stevens heads to the line.
Dwayne Stevens was a teammate of Jimmy Jackson in the Olympic Festival games this summer, and they both won gold medals on that North squad. Interesting little sidebar to tonight's tilt.
Jackson. Baker makes the offense go. Jackson creates. Stayed right with it for two. And Jim Jackson's first field goal of the second half. We're almost 10 minutes in.
Well, you can believe he'll step it up here as we get down to the wire. Persistence pays, though. Didn't give up on it after he was denied initially.
Michigan State's lead down to 6. In the weaving process, trying to control some tempo here. Shorten the game a little bit.
When you do this, though, and you've got the momentum, which Michigan State has, you run the risk of losing the momentum.
No question, it is a dangerous strategy. Montgomery reaching in for two. Boy, he's had a big second half.
Huge.
The second half.
Huge second half for Mark Montgomery.
Jackson, apparently last touch by Steginger. Jimmy Jackson will inbound.
See what's happening with the Buckeyes, they aren't able to get it inside because the perimeter defenders for the Spartans really sagging in as they show zone here.
Baker left free. He has 13 in the game. Baker is one tough little ball player, 6'1", 180.
You know, he was saddled by the Prop 48 rule, sat out his freshman year, and really came on strong late last season and has just picked up his game from that point. Confidence flowing.
Clark, no one in the conference really matches up in the backcourt with Baker.
Well, he's strong and he's explosive off the dribble.
Very quick.
Lethal combination.
Smith. Stevens to Smith.
You know, I talked to Jimmy Jackson before the game about Dwayne Stevens. I said, what's his game like, Jimmy? Well, he said he's a banger, he'll board, but for a big guy, he can pass. And he showed us that after he got the offensive rebound by finding Steve Smith inside.
Chris Gent back into the lineup, replacing Jamal Brown.
Spartans maintaining a nice cushion here, Wayne.
8-point lead coming up on 8 minutes left to go. Gent out front. Jimmy Jackson. Montgomery takes the rebound away from the 7-footer Robinson.
Spartans doing a nice job defensively and then completing it by denying the Buckeyes second shots.
Smith.
Boy, this could be a tough matchup for Lee. They might clear it out.
They are clearing it out. Smith. 20 for Steve Smith. 10-point lead is the largest for Michigan State. Jackson. Steginger knocked away by Jackson and a foul.
Jimmy Jackson really struggling. He got a good shot that time. Every shot he's taken has been challenged. He hasn't gotten his good ones to go down, and he's maybe pressing just a tad.
In a game they must have, the Spartans lead the Buckeyes
Buckeyes trail here by 10. If they're going to get back into it, JJ is going to have to get going. This is what he does on a typical night in terms of first half and second half production. So far tonight, not quite to JJ's standard. Only 2 points in the second half on 25% shooting.
Ohio State really hasn't fired its second half comeback yet.
Credit Michigan State, though. Solid at the offensive end. One shot and one shot only for the Buckeyes on their offensive end.
Baker. No, they're going to call the foul on Montgomery, clearing out with the left hand, I believe, on the dribble.
Or it may have been a blocking foul on one of those guys involved in the weave. I think it was
Smith. It's Von Smith, a blocking foul on Steve Smith, his third, fifth on the team. So now Smith, Stevens, and Steginger in some foul difficulty.
Spartan showing man-to-man. It's been a sagging man-to-man, though. The guy defending the one on the perimeter. See how Montgomery's faded off Baker?
Pass interior feed from Baker denied by Steginger and chased down by Montgomery.
Baker needs to look at that 12-foot shot. Tried to force it that time. You've got to take what the defense gives you.
Michigan State starts the weave. They lead by 10 now. Montgomery penetrating to Poplawski, right back out to Steve Smith. Still plenty of time in the shot clock. There it is in the left-hand corner of your screen.
Smith really tough in this situation.
Carter the rebound. Baker. Jackson travels. Well, it's been a tough night for Tim Jackson.
Been a struggle. He's hit an air pocket. The going has been turbulent for Jimmy Jackson tonight.
6:08 left to go in this game. Look at the turnover story. Second half, Michigan State has tightened it up
Considerably.
Stevens on the break, and again the Spartans, as has been their tendency in this half, have gone to the weave in the half-court offense. In the first half, they were attacking the goal on the break. Kicked out of bounds by Steginger. That turnover will turn it back to Ohio State.
That's a point guard's turnover as he gave Steginger a pass he couldn't handle.
5:53 left to go. And the defending Big Ten champs leading by 10. Michigan State leading by 10 here at East Lansing. This just the start of a triple header of college basketball on ESPN tonight. Coming up 9 Eastern, we go to the ACC, North Carolina and Clemson. And then all the way over to the Big Island, over to Hawaii. Actually, not the Big Island, but Honolulu, Hawaii at any rate. We've got a lot of ESPN people over there this week for Wyoming and Hawaii, and the Pro Bowl coming up later this weekend. Gent for three. Carter fouled, but it won't go, which has been the story of his night tonight. Foul is on Steginger. His fourth personal. Number 6 on the Spartans, but 4 on Steginger. It'll send Perry Carter to the free throw line.
We talked about it at the top, how Michigan State wanted to control tempo, play this game in the 60s. Well, they've done a nice job here in the second half controlling tempo. The Buckeyes, because the game is being shortened, every possession valuable.
Steginger with 4. Poplawski, Stevens, and Smith all have 3 for Michigan State. Carter makes good on 1 out of 2 at the line. He has 9 points in the game. Jamal Brown back into the lineup. Brown has had a somewhat quiet night. 7 points for him thus far tonight. Last couple of games, he had 29 at Indiana, 17 at Minnesota.
The Buckeyes stay in the pressure, especially after made free throws. Then they pull it off immediately and get back into their half court, man-to-man, where they'll see the weave.
Smith out front.
Buckeyes will probably try to keep Gent on Smith.
Under 6 minutes to go. The lead is 9 for Michigan State. Shot clock winding down. Smith had better get it off in a hurry. A force. Carter had possession of the rebound. Bats it over to Jim Jackson. Jackson had a tip away from behind.
Never saw Smith. Critical foul here.
On Steginger. That is number 5, if that's who the foul is against, and I believe it is. It is on Steginger.
A double-edged sword there, because you lose a guy who's been a major factor tonight, Matt Steginger, but it also sends the Buckeyes to the foul line. 8 points really don't tell the story of Matt Steginger's contribution. He's had a few blocks and some inspirational plays. Smith deflects it from behind, gets it away from Jackson. And then Jackson and Gent take it away from Steginger, and then he reaches in and commits the foul.
Jackson missing at the free throw line.
Boy, that's costly, because the Buckeyes need points with the clock stopped, but also that gives them a chance to apply some full court pressure if he drops 2 free throws.
The lead remains 9 for Michigan State. 4.5 minutes to go in the game. And a timeout called. Michigan State timeout with 4:29 left to go. Judd Heathcote gathers the troops. Michigan State 5-3. Coming into this game, and the Ohio State Buckeyes undefeated 17-0, 7-0 more importantly in conference play. A must-win for Michigan State, and they've played like it tonight.
They really have come out and seized this game, especially in the second half. But you almost sense that coming on. They lost 2 games in Indiana where they didn't play very well at Purdue or at Indiana. They're back home where they haven't lost in a year and a half in Big Ten play. And that taste, that bitter taste of losing and compounding that by losing and playing poorly is an awful taste for any basketball player at any level. And you want to get rid of it as soon as you can, and the Spartans have set out to do that here tonight.
Well, they were hammered down at Indiana, and in that ball game, Judd Heathcote said, I felt we were prepared going into the game. Our players had come off a loss that Wednesday night at Purdue, and we felt we were prepared and ready to go at Indiana, and it just didn't happen for them. 4:29 left to go. Here's the timeout situation. Again, Michigan State has 17 fouls now, and the possession arrow in favor of Ohio State. The lead is 9 for the Spartans. We are in East Lansing at the Breslin Center. Randy Ayers, the head coach at Ohio State in his 2nd season. Ohio State has not had a field goal, Clark, in the last 5 minutes, 11 seconds of this game.
That's too long a dry spell, especially on the road.
Smith gets the step to the baseline. Spartans again to take some time off the clock. Wyszynski gets it away in time to Stevens.
Boy, Wyszynski just did get it away in time.
It was a long 5 count, wasn't it? Here's the shot clock. Time winding down on the Spartans. Smith. Baker comes up with it. Boy, that's twice now Smith has been left with the option of just getting a shot away. Montgomery with the tip to Poplawski.
Not a good choice that time by Baker.
The last 2 times down the floor, the Spartans have not put Steve Smith in a good position to shoot the basketball as they wind down the shot clock.
They've been fighting the shot clock.
Here's a steal by Tregley. Out of St. Joseph High School in Cleveland, Ohio. You know, alumnus of St. Joe, are you not?
Some good basketball players come out of St. Joseph High School. Yours truly is one.
Clark Kellogg.
They got a pretty good team now. They were ranked in the top 25 at one time this season. USA Today's high school poll.
Coming up on 3 minutes left to go in the game.
You know, we talked about how this weave and milking the clock could backfire on the Spartans. They haven't gotten a good shot their last 4 possessions.
Shot clock, left-hand corner of your screen. Montgomery. Score it, and a foul.
Well, Montgomery just changed that.
15 for Montgomery, 12 in the second half.
the shot clock. Good defensive pressure here. Tough shot. And Baker with the push, maybe with the left hand. Boy, that was tough.
Fourth on Baker. Jamal Brown back into the lineup, replacing Baker. Greg Lee heads to the bench.
Well, the Buckeyes going rather small, but a little quicker. They need that quickness at the defensive end. They've got to get points quickly.
Poplawski keeps it alive.
Well, I tell you what, that size, that lacking of size on that substitution may have hurt the Bucks on that defensive rebound.
Poplawski's 6'11".
Perry Carter, the tallest Buckeye, at 6'8".
2.5 minutes to go. Smith apparently stepped on the baseline before releasing the pass. Judd Heathcote not happy with the way that possession ended. We'll pick it up here.
Right on the baseline. Watch the left foot.
Yep.
Right on the line. No doubt about it. Excellent camera work right on top of it, guys. Buckeyes need to be thinking about the three. And they've got to get quick offense.
Gent for three. Smith is guilty of the foul. Fourth personal. Smith over the back. 8th on the team.
You take a look at Gent stroking the three. Now watch Smith come over the top. There he is. Minimal contact, but he did get Carter with the body.
Perry Carter heads to the free throw line. Five out of 7 from the line tonight for Carter. Gent, score it, and a foul. Chris Gent with a very important bucket for Ohio State.
They won't go away completely. Boy, Perry Carter knuckleballed that free throw up there. That one never had a chance. And Gent coming up with the offensive rebound and the quick putback has a chance for three. He needs the free throw so the Buckeyes can apply heat.
Chris Gent puts in on the free throw. That foul's on Poplawski, was his 4th and the 9th on the team. Carter leads the lineup for Ohio State. Greg Lee back on. Smith off the inbounds. Double
Dangerous
team.
place to have it.
Stevens to Montgomery.
This is the guy they want handling it.
2 minutes to go now. Less than 2 minutes to go. Ohio State undefeated, 7-0 in the conference, 17-0 overall. Third-ranked team in the nation. Michigan State, 12-6 overall, 5-3 in the Big Ten, defending champions. Just looking to stay in the race. Smith to Stevens. Baker right back. Brown for three. Air ball. Gent saves. To Brown into traffic. Stevens comes up with the loose ball. Montgomery resets the offense and the foul given up by Gent. Third on Gent. Pushes Randy Ayers, Buckeyes over the foul limit. Since this building opened at the beginning of last season, Michigan State has only lost twice here, to Bowling Green and Minnesota. They have won 14 in a row on this floor, including an unmarked 9-0 this season. Free throws. Michigan State did not take advantage early in the game. They have done a much better job in the second half.
They've really controlled tempo. As you look at Mark Montgomery, probably the only thing he's done poorly tonight is shoot free throws.
16 for Montgomery. Just as Ohio State started to make its run with 2 minutes left to go, Michigan State held its poise, and now they have a 9-point lead. The lead is 10. 17 for Montgomery. sets it up. Baker for three. Smith up high, and a foul coming up on Carter. Second on Perry Carter, 8 on the team. All of the Big Ten outside of Ohio rooting for Michigan State here. Someone has to put the brakes on the Ohio State run to the title. And Judd Heathcote said, hey, it might as well be us in our building.
That's right. He talked to us before the game this morning and talked about just that. Controlling tempo, which Michigan State has done marvelously here in the second half. Solid defensively, forcing the Buckeyes into tough shots. And they're going to win this one going away.
6 of 6 at the line tonight for Steve Smith. He's made 37 straight free throws.
Mark Montgomery has established a new career high in points.
Under a minute to go now. 12-point lead for Michigan State. Jackson on the drive. Been a tough night for Jim Jackson, as we've said many times in the second half. The foul stops the clock with 43 seconds to go. 10 make that 19 fouls on the Buckeyes. Fouls on Perry Carter, his third.
Well, this will knock the Buckeyes from the unbeaten ranks and also give everybody else in the Big Ten, at least Michigan State and Indiana.
Indiana with just one conference loss, that being at home to this great Ohio State team. Wyszynski 1 out of 2 at the line. Baker on the move. Davis for 3. Perry Carter off the glass. Timeout called by Michigan State with 30 seconds remaining. Let's take a look at the Big Ten standings for you. This is what it will look like after tonight. Among the top 3, Indiana, Ohio State will be tied. Michigan State back to within 2 games.
Really, this win more obviously a must-win for the Spartans. I mean, Indiana with the one loss playing extremely well. Only a game behind the Buckeyes, even if the Buckeyes won this one. But Michigan State, if they have any hopes of defending the titles we talked about at the top, they had to have this one. And right now, back in the picture, as many people expected, this is basically a 3-team race for the championship with everybody else battling for the middle of the road.
And perhaps coming out of the pack and emerging a little bit has been that Illinois team under Lou Henson, much maligned and supposedly void of great talent, but they're not deep, but they've been getting it done. It's been one of Henson's best coaching seasons.
You know, so often you talk about a coach having a great year, and it's always predicated on wins instead of what type of job a coach is doing with the talent he has. And so often the best coaching jobs are done when you're a little short on material.
North Carolina and Clemson coming right up as soon as we're done here in East Lansing, as we head to the ACC for the second portion of our triple header tonight. Smith to Montgomery, and the foul by Jackson. That is his second personal. Now 10 team fouls on Ohio State. 26 seconds to go in the game. The lead is 11 for the Spartans.
Well, Michigan State got the balance they needed offensively. Major contributions from Steginga. Mark Montgomery establishes a new career high. Parrish Hickman and Dwayne Stevens also made significant contributions. Steve Smith won't even reach his average of 25 a game tonight, I don't think.
Ohio State is around 38% from the field here tonight. Montgomery at the free throw line. He'll have another. He has 17 points, as we mentioned, a career high. Missed a pair. Gent lets it go for 3. Rebound knocked out of bounds, and it'll belong to Ohio State. Last touch by Michigan State. Ohio State is 1 of 12 from three-point range. Baker. Smith the rebound. Got to be the poorest shooting night of the season for Ohio State, without a doubt. Foul there is on Carter, I believe. His fourth. 11 seconds remaining as Jed Heathcote. Well, I tell you what, after the week they had last week, this is a welcome relief for that man.
No doubt about it. Good solid performance too. I mean, they executed their game plan effectively. Kept Ohio State from any significant spurts. Attacked the pressure. Just an overall solid effort by the Spartans.
Smith makes another free throw. That's up to what? 39 straight free throws by Smith. It's number 2. About to become the number 2 scorer all time for Michigan State. 24 points for Smith here tonight. Baker. Time winding down. Montgomery with a strange foul, to say the least, to be kind about it. Michigan State's career scoring list. Steve Smith has moved ahead of our friend Greg Kelser. Into second place, he's really Scott Skiles.
And most likely, at the current clip he's going at 24 plus, will become the all-time leading scorer at Michigan State.
Michigan State, 10-team foul, so that means Baker will get another free throw, shooting 2 at the line.
You know, all the Buckeye fans obviously would have liked to see the Buckeyes go unbeaten. But this one loss by no means dampens their season, as we're just at the halfway point of the conference schedule. And sometimes a loss midway through the season can be healthy for a squad.
Montgomery with the final drive of the game. Score it! On the slam. Final score, the Michigan State Spartans have defeated the Ohio State Buckeyes 75-61.